So hey, what's your name?
Brian Dunn,
Brian, and where are you from?
Hillsboro, Oregon.
Okay. So how long have you been a supporter of Ron Paul?
I started reading his speeches, seeing his kind of stuff on YouTube, and that kind of stuff around this last summer. I noticed he started running and basically, gradually became more involved.
Okay. And so you decided to come here on the 27th and decided to quit your job for that?
Yeah, well, I was planning on quitting anyway. I'm going to move on to something else in January now. But I quit early and used part of my savings and my Christmas money and that kind of stuff to come out and support Dr. Paul here in Iowa.
So that's interesting. So, what have you felt like when you're here? What do you feel about like the atmosphere and being able to help out the way that you have been?
Well, the atmosphere is great. Being among kindred spirits of kids, guys and gals our own age, and who are well read and knowledgeable about politics. Because a lot of Dr. Paul's stances you have to read into it to really understand. And so it's great. It's a good experience.
So what are some of the things that you have been doing in the last week that you've been here?
Well, I did phone banking the first day, pamphlet stuffing when we get back home. I did canvassing, when it was 8 degrees on the first, we were out canvassing. I had brought ski pants and everything, so that was okay, and met a lot of great people. People are really receptive.
What do you think of the diversity of the amount of people here? Maybe compared to the supporters back at home, but what do you feel about the different demographics and how the supporters here are from different areas and all over the place?
Iowans are they're pretty diverse, but as compared to other places, I know they get pretty sick of what all the campaign stuff here, with the calls and that kind of thing. So the majority of the hang-ups and no thank yous I could attribute to that they are just sick of it, and I understand that. But any people that give any of us a minute of their time can be persuaded, and a lot of people just agree with Dr. Paul right up front without having to even know him.
That's interesting. So, what are some of the most key issues of Paul that really struck you as a young voter by heart?
The war in Iraq was one of the main ones, being the only a politician who has been consistently against the war in Iraq since its conception. Even in 2002, he was giving speeches on the danger of the war and how the American people wouldn't be happy with a Quagmire. So I believe he has foreign policy experience that far surpasses many candidates. His economic policies seem to be out there, but they also make a lot of sense. They'll help protect the country and the poor and middle class a lot better than the current system does. $100 a barrel of oil now is it really hurts the lower middle class more than anybody else.
All right. And lastly, what do you expect out of the young voters, and what are your expectations for tonight's Iowa caucus?
Well, I think the young voters are really waking up to the fact that we're going to inherit a lot of problems unless we do something about it and turn out votes and turn up for votes. And anybody, we don't want to inherit problems. We don't want to inherit recessions or depressions, and we want to be free and independent and able to run our own lives. That's really important, and maybe that's as we start out in our lives, is more important to us. But it's also important to everybody too. And I think we'll do really well in the caucus.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.